Hello everyone, this is Sri. Here is the new topic of special subjects, map reading, a vast one which consists of written 24 marks and practical 16 marks. What is a map? A map is a geographical representation of a piece of land on a piece of paper with the measure of the scale. So we'll discuss in detail. So here is the one of the important topic of map reading, that is the conventional signs. So you will be given one of these sign like this will be given. You will be given a four options of lined well, unlined well, bridge and lighthouse. You have to tick the option unlined well. So let's see what are the conventional signs, some of the important conventional signs. So church will have symbol like this, the mosque with three places, and the temple with a flag, and the tomb with a dome, and the house for the permanent it will be dark, and the temporary it will be unconstructed well. Village open and closed, two types. Boundaries are demarcated and undemarcated, important one. And the graveyard will be this, and the battlefield will be circle with a plus representing metallic road and unmetallic road. Causeway, river, dry and wet consists of water, dry does not consist of water. Bridge, unlined well, lined well and lighthouse. Fort, one of the important one. Contour lines. And the railway, narrow gauge, broad gauge, single line, double line, single line, double line. So in narrow gauge you have single line and double line, broad gauge you have single line and double line. It will be represented like this. The circuit routes, CH, rest house, RH, police station, PS, post office, PO, telegraph office, TO, campaigning guard, CG, reserve forest, RF, protected area, PA. The benchmark also is very important. BM 200, the canal symbol is like this, and the international democratic boundary will be unlined well. Next, we discuss about the scale and the technical terms associated with the map reading. So, what is a scale? A scale is the proportion of the distance between 2 points on a map to the distance on the ground. So, on scale, the question will definitely be asked in the exam based on this example. So, see here example. 1:1 lakh scale map on. Here we know that 1 centimeter on a map is equal to 1 kilometer on the ground. Based on this, 2 or 3 questions will be asked in the map reading under the topic of scales. So when I'll be discussing about the questions of map reading, I'll let you know what kind of questions will be asked. So technical terms are bearing, benchmark, contour lines and the grid lines. So we'll discuss in detail. So what is a bearing? A bearing is a clockwise or anti-clockwise angle between north or south and a direction. So the bearing is recorded as north, for example this all out, north 57 degrees east and south 51 degrees east and 521 degrees west. So here we know the clockwise or anti-clockwise angle. This is 0. This is known as bearing. There are 3 types of bearings. So that is true bearing, grid bearing and magnetic bearing. So what is a true bearing? Using the direction towards the geographical north pole as a reference point. Here the geographical north pole will be used as a reference point. Using the direction northwards along the grid lines of the map is known as grid bearing. So in relation to the magnetic north, the magnetic bearing will be explained using the direction towards the magnetic pole as a reference point. Here definitely one question will be asked. They will be given a back bearing. What is asked by giving a fore bearing? So you have to find the back bearing when the angle of fore bearing is given. Here 2 important points to be remembered are, if fore bearing is given less than 180, it will be added to the 180. If fore bearing is given more than 180, it will be minused from the 180. So remember this point. For example, if the fore bearing angle is 20 degrees, the back bearing is, the question is asked, then you have to add 180 to 20, the answer is 200. If the fore bearing is given as 320, then what do you have to do, students? So for the back bearing will be, fore bearing is 320, right? 320 minus 180. since it's less than 180. Important bit and definitely asked in the paper. What is a benchmark? A benchmark is a post or other permanent mark established at the known elevation that is used for the basis for the measuring the elevation of other topographical points. So what are the contour lines? Contours, imaginary lines or joining equal heights. By looking how far apart of contour lines of an area are, we can tell how steep or flat the land is. So what is a gradient? Measure of how steep a slope or line is. Gradient is a measure of how steep or a gradient like is like a slope. So what are the grid lines? A purple or blue lines running from north to south and east to west, like north to south and east to west. These are the grid lines. Okay, which are parallel to each other. Important bit here. What are easting lines? Easting lines are the vertical lines that run from west to east. Most of them confuse. Easting lines means they tell east to west. That's wrong. And the vertical lines running from the west to east are known as easting lines. And what are northing lines? These are the horizontal lines running from south to north. Horizontal lines running from south to north. Grid reference is a very important topic where one question will definitely be asked in the exam. So grid reference will be of three types: 4D grid reference, 6D grid reference, and 8D grid reference. Now how to calculate a six figure, how to calculate a four figure, I'll be letting you know. So how to calculate a four figure is easy. You have to know what is a easting line and northing line. So suppose you are having a river here. What will be the easting line? Either 63 or 64 because it is located in this between of 63 and 64, right? So what value you have to take, 63 or 64? Definitely we have to take the value of 63 because this is where after the river is present. So the easting line will be 63 east. Then what is the northing line? So this river is present in between 13 and 14. Same applies here. The 13 after you're having a river. So definitely the value you'll be taking is 13. So the northing line will be 39. Here comes the four figure of 63 east, 13 north. So very simple. And how do you calculate a six figure? For six figure, there will be sublines even in between 13 to 14 and 12 to 13, 62 to 63 and 63 to 64. Here will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The mid will be 5. Here also the mid will be the 5. If suppose the river is present in between the middle point. So first of all we'll write the easting and northing line for six figure also. Here the easting line is 63 and the northing line is 13. So how do you write a six figure? For 63 and 13, what are the midterms? So where is the river present? So if you draw a benchmark line, here you'll be having a particular value. I have 5 here, so I have written 5. Even here, when you draw a line in extend a line from here, you'll be having a particular value. Here the value is 5, so 5 will be written side of 13 and the 5 will be written side of 63, whereas easting will be 5 6 3 and the northing will be 1 3 5. Here comes a six figure. Be so clear about calculating this four figure and six figure. It's very easy. If you understand, you can solve 2 to 3 questions in the examination. So what are the cardinal points? The cardinal points are north, east, west and south. Here comes northeast, here comes southeast, here is southwest and here is northwest.